Welcome to Toastmaster Time, the show that's got everybody talking. My name is James Jeffley, and I'm excited to be the host for this edition of Toastmaster Time. Just like in a regular Toastmasters Club meeting, we've got prepared speeches followed by an evaluation from our very own seasoned evaluator, Lewis Knox. Lewis, tell our audience what's in store for them tonight.
Thank you, James. We have an exciting show tonight. Now, we have two people tonight. One, a seasoned veteran of Toastmasters, who is also the district's club growth director, who will talk about the keys to success. We also have a newcomer who's made a big splash on the scene, whose name is Marquise Ingles. And Marquise is going to give a great personal story which will absolutely move and shake you.
Well, that sounds exciting. I'm looking forward to hearing their speeches. And right now, I would like to introduce our first speaker to the show, Bet Bohlhofer. Bet, welcome to Toastmaster Time.
Thanks, James.
So is this your first time on Toastmaster Time TV?
It is.
But you've been in Toastmasters for a while now, right?
I've been in Toastmasters since 2005.
Wow. Okay, so have you grown in that time?
I joined Toastmasters because I was a very shy engineer, and now I'm a product manager.
Wow. So how has Toastmasters helped you grow professionally?
It has made me brave. I'm able to run meetings. I'm able to lead. I'm able to figure out how to persuade people and help them grow. And it's amazing.
And that has translated into your current position, which is the club growth director for the entire District 57.
I was elected with a 2-minute speech, the most difficult 2-minute speech I've ever given, and I have a big vision. The vision is to grow the district by adding new clubs and lots of new members, open houses, basically sharing the joy of Toastmasters with more people.
That sounds great. You know, it's amazing how often a life can change based on a 2-minute speech or a 2-minute conversation.
That's amazing.
Well, are you ready to give your speech?
I'm ready, James.
I'll give you a moment to prepare, and I'll tell our audience a little bit more about Toastmasters.
Excellent.
Toastmasters is an international organization that is dedicated to helping people overcome their fear of public speaking, improve their speech and communication skills, as well as their leadership skills. When you join a club, you can choose from several different pathways that help you improve your body language, your organization and writing skills, your persuasive skills, your humor skills, and much more. Bet Bohlhofer is going to talk about how to present a plan for a project and how to do things as a leader to have a more successful project. Planning for success, Bet Bohlhofer. Bet Bohlhofer, Planning for Success.
So you're a new leader in Toastmasters. I'm going to give you some practical tips that you can use to be successful in your term. But let me start with reminding you of my first time in Toastmasters. I joined back in 2005. I was a very young software engineer. I was too shy to even raise my hand and say, I have a decision to make about this design. I was too shy to even talk in a meeting. But only after a few months of Toastmasters, I was not only brave enough to raise my hand, but also to run the whole meeting. That's right, Toastmasters is amazing, and I'm so thankful, and that is why I believe in the mission. And I want you to be successful as a leader, so that when people come into your club, they can be set up for success also. There's only 3 easy steps to being a successful leader this term for you in Toastmasters. Plan, execute, and recognize your team. So let's go through it. First of all, you got to plan. Now you may be thinking to yourself, but Bet, I have a great club. I have wonderful membership. I have lots of speeches that are being given every week. No problem. This is a common mistake. Even if everything is going really well right now, you still need to make a plan because people move on. Jobs change. There are so many reasons why people have to leave your club. It's not always personal. So you have to make a plan so that you can recruit new members throughout the entire term. Next, you have to think about the speeches that people are going to give and how to schedule them and how to get your people to be motivated to sign up. So once you've got your plan, you need to move to step 2, which is review your plan with somebody who's done it before. There's 2 kinds of people you can review your plan with. Someone who's done it before and was successful, and someone who's done it before and failed. Now I recommend you review it with someone who's failed, because success could have been by luck. You don't want that. You want to talk to someone who may have failed so you can learn all the ways not to do your plan. After you've reviewed your plan with several people, you need to move into the execute phase. Now, how many times have you heard a failure to execute? Don't let this happen to you. You need to execute successfully. I'm going to give you several tips now on how to execute successfully. The first one is called get help. Continually, I am hearing in these transition meetings that I'm going to from officers that are leaving their term that they did not get help. They continually tell, like, I just didn't get help. So why don't people get help? The first reason is because they feel like asking for help is imposing on other people. Now think about it. How many times have you helped someone and felt that warm glow in your stomach? When you help someone, it feels great. If you don't ask for help, you're denying that feeling to somebody. That's rude. Now that you have asked for help, you need to communicate with that person how to do the task and what the task is. Just sending an email to someone and just clicking send, that is not communicating. Unfortunately, you have to take a little bit more effort. Sit with the person, make eye contact, talk with them, find out what their goals are, where are they trying to go, and then connect that task with the goal. Once you've identified what the task is with them and made sure they are excited about it, then you need to make sure they understand the task. The best way to do this is define the things that you need and then get them to repeat it back to you in your own language. Once they've repeated back, then you know they're ready to go. Let's move to the next part of execute. Support your team. If you think that on the day that your task is supposed to be completed, it's just going to happen, you're dreaming. You need to follow up with your team and make sure that they are continuing to move forward. Now, there's 2 ways people could be struggling with a task. The first is motivation. People may have forgotten why they're even trying to do this task. And when you find out your team member is struggling with motivation, it's time to reconnect the task with their big goal. When they remember why they're signing up for an icebreaker so that they can be a great public speaker one day, then they'll be re-energized and get back on task. Now, another reason is because they don't have instruction. If you try to motivate someone with the big, exciting goal and they actually just cannot do it, then you're going to frustrate them. This is the moment when you need to sit with them, open the laptop, help them write an outline, give them the coaching. If it's pathways they need help with, help them with pathways. Don't just try to give them encouragement if they need instruction. Finally, you have planned, you have executed, and now it's time to recognize achievement. This is where you must not disappoint them. Have you ever done a task and nobody even noticed? Don't be like that. Give thanks and recognition to your team when they accomplish something. Back in Florida, my area director, Ron Rice, wrote me a handwritten thank you note that said, "Dear Bet, thank you so much for doing the task that I asked you to do. I am so thankful. You're wonderful." I will never, ever say no to something that Ron needs. I will be there for him because he wrote me that note. Recognize your team. It's not that hard. Give them recognition in front of the other audience members, in front of them personally. Give them a note. It's really critical that you recognize achievement. Today, I've given you 3 things that you can do to go back and be a successful Toastmasters leader in this term. First of all, you need to plan. Then you need to execute. And finally, recognize achievement. I am so excited about your Toastmaster journey, and you can make your Toastmasters Club an awesome place for people like me who just want to learn how to speak better and have more confidence. Thank you.
Wow, that was great. I really loved that Bet broke it down very simply. Plan, execute, and recognize. And I think for a lot of people who are managing projects or managing people, that last point seems to sometimes fall by the wayside. Louis, what did you think?
I agree with you 100%, James. Not only would this message be great in a speech, This is a message that will help anyone get through life. Plan, communicate, and recognize. Beth did a wonderful job. She was very poised. You know, one of the best ways you know a great speech is when it feels like a conversation. And Beth's speech was a conversation with her listeners. She was poised, she knew exactly where she was going, and she was excited about her subject, and she did a great job. It is a message that is complex, but also very simple. It's one that any of us can walk away because we can remember to plan, we can remember to communicate, and we can remember to recognize people. And that last point, I think, James, is an excellent one. Oftentimes, we don't stop to recognize the people who helped us and who participated. And she did an excellent job. This speech will not only go far, but it will help her be a great growth club director. Back to you, James.
Thank you so much, Louis. And right now, it's time to take a break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more Toastmaster Time TV.
Name an effective political leader in history who couldn't speak well.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
There aren't any.
Because when it comes to a disease,
Freedom requires leadership, and leadership requires oratory. You have to speak to be heard.
I have a dream.
It's all about personal growth and guts.
Never give in. Never, never, never.
Welcome back to Toastmaster Time, the show that's got everybody talking. My name is James Jeffley, and I'm the host for this edition of Toastmaster Time. Right now, I'd like to welcome to the show our second speaker, Marquise Engel. Marquise, welcome to the show.
Thank you, James, for having me.
Is this your first time on Toastmaster Time?
This is my very first time.
Is it your first time on TV?
I'm not sure.
Oh, all right. So what brought you to Toastmasters?
I have always been speaking about HIV and AIDS, and I figured I needed to take it serious so that I could really connect my main points. And that is the main reason that I came to Toastmasters.
So you saw Toastmasters as a way to really sharpen your skills and make you more focused and organized and...
Iron sharpens iron.
There it is. Well, this is where leaders are made, but yes, where great speakers are made as well. So what would you say has been the most important lesson you've learned so far in Toastmasters?
Preparation. Preparation is definitely the key to success. Preparation.
Preparation, absolutely. And how long have you been a Toastmaster now?
I have been a Toastmaster since March of 2018, so like 2 days.
2 days, 2 days and 4 minutes and 6
And
seconds.
30 seconds.
That's wonderful. Are you enjoying it so far?
I really am. Lakeview Toastmasters is a very, very team-oriented group, and they have just rallied behind me and prepared me for today.
That's great. Now, you also do some work out in the community.
Yes, sir. I'm a program director, and oftentimes I'm put into situations where I must do a table topics, if you will.
Right. That's
And-
speaking impromptu.
Thank you, brother man. And just sharing what our organization does
Right.
in hopes that we will raise some funds or gather some resources that will benefit our youth.
Right. And that's one of the great things about Toastmasters is in the real world, you never know when you're going to be called on the spot to say something important.
Yes,
So,
sir.
Like right now. Are you ready to say your speech?
I believe so.
I'll give you a moment to prepare, and I'll tell our audience a little bit more about Toastmasters.
Thank you, James.
Toastmasters is an international organization. We have about 17,000 clubs in 146 countries around the world, over 350,000 members. So whatever it is you want to work on, your anxiety, your communication, your leadership skills, chances are there's a Toastmasters club in your neighborhood. Marquise is going to share a narrative from his life in 3 parts in hopes to inspire the audience to push forward with intention. Using his vulnerability and courage, he will paint a picture of strength and resilience from his formative years that shaped his experience as of late. Marquise Engel, the point of it all Marquise Engel.
I was diagnosed with HIV when I was 17 years old. That was 2 years prior to my coming out as a gay boy to my family and close friends. Now, growing up in Cleveland, Ohio, and being a pastor's son, I immediately knew that I may not be received with love and open arms. However, I was shocked when it happened. However, the need and the desire to express and to be myself outweighed all of that shame. My desire to want to be loved haunted me as if there was something that was misplaced, something that I lost it. I searched up and down, high and low, left and right for that love, and I never found it. However, what I did find was hookup sites. And boy, did I work it. I began to develop an idea of what it meant to be gay, to have pride. I shared of myself freely, my body and my spirit. I mean, after all, isn't that what gay life is about? Hooking up? I digress, because that is not the point. That is not the point of this story. The point of this story originates when I was 13. This was 2 years prior to me coming out and 4 years prior to me receiving my HIV diagnosis. At the age of 13, tender, impressionable, I would sit on the edge of my bed in the basement and I would play pretend. I would make believe as though I were sharing my story of acquiring HIV and thriving with it, with an audience just like yourself. Where had I come up with a concept to play pretend? HIV, of all things. Media, family, I'm still unsure. However, what I know for a fact is that my 13-year-old self set off an intention in the universe. My intention was so intense that it drew that experience into my life. I no longer have to be convinced that my thoughts become things. It's proven in my life. Visioning at 13, coming out at 15, acquiring HIV at 17, 4 years. I'm thankful though, because I stand before you now at the age of 27, 10 whole years, an entire decade later, after that diagnosis, healthy. I'm thankful that I'm able to live out that experience that I visioned for myself when I was 13. To the point. Our words, belief, and action will shoot off into the universe and draw to us everything that we experience, our reality. So now that I know that, I'm going to be intentional. I will be intentional about what I think about, speak about, and act on, because I know that it's coming to me. I declare today that 13-year-old children will be able to be 13-year-old children. Innocent, beautiful. That is my declaration and that is my intention. What is your intention? What are you putting out? What are you drawing to you? That is the point of it all. Thank you.
Lord.
Thoughts become things. They most certainly do. I really appreciated Marquise's vulnerability, his ability to stand on the platform and tell his story in the hopes of inspiring others. Louis, what are your impressions of Marquise's speech?
I agree with you 100%, James. What an incredible story of redemption. You know, James, Marquise reminded me of something we've all learned, which is the art of attraction. That which we speak to the universe moves and gives us exactly what we want. Powerful story, one that will not only be effective in the way that he will communicate this to many, many people, but it illustrates his own growth, his own knowledge, and what a powerful speaker he is. His poise, his ability to pause, his ability to use his body as he speaks. As I mentioned earlier, Marquise is a newcomer. He's been with us only a couple of months, but I predict great things. In fact, I declare great things for Marquise. This was a wonderful speech, a powerful speech, and one that we will all long remember. Back to you, James.
And so it is. And with that, we're going to take a short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more Toastmaster Time TV.
Name an effective political leader in history who couldn't speak well.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
There aren't any.
Because when it comes to a disease,
Freedom requires leadership, and leadership requires oratory. You have to speak to be heard.
I have a dream.
It's all about personal growth and guts.
Never give in. Never, never, never.
Welcome back to Toastmaster Time, the show that's got everybody talking. I'm James Jeffley, the host, and I'm here with my friend Louis Knox, our evaluator.
Hello.
Louis, great to work with you again.
Great to work with you as well.
So we've heard two wonderful speakers give two amazing speeches, right?
Absolutely.
What are your impressions, these final thoughts?
It shows you that the Lakeview Toastmasters Club is one of the best that are out there. We heard from a veteran.
Yes.
Bet is going to be an amazing club growth leader, and I'm so impressed with the newcomer that we see in Marquise.
Right.
A powerful speaker who speaks from his heart, and his speeches will touch, move, and inspire generations.
Absolutely. And for anybody who thinks that, oh, well, you know, I've got to have this amazing voice or this chiseled body or a gift with words to be a great speaker, no, you don't. You just have to be a person who desires to want to communicate more effectively.
Absolutely.
Show up to a Toastmasters club near you, learn some skills, get some practice in a supportive environment, and just tell your story.
Yes.
Tell your story. Whether you're a project manager at a tech company or you're a program director out in the community or whatever your thing is in life, there will be times when you have to communicate in a way to move and inspire people, and this is the place to learn how to do that, and we've seen the example of that tonight.
We saw it firsthand. You know, people come here just to learn how to speak, but I think that they leave here understanding that they become better leaders.
Absolutely.
And we saw it tonight. Bet, who has been involved in Bet has been involved in Toastmasters for a long time. She's now graduated, if you may, and she is now creating new Toastmasters clubs across this district, and she will be very successful. The story that she told, using those techniques of success, is good in anything that you do.
Absolutely. I was thinking the same thought. You know, this is a life lesson, not just about how to, you know, execute a plan in an organization. You know, plan, execute, recognize, and reward. Those are things that we can do with our children, with our families, our communities, right?
And what I like about Marquise's story is that his vulnerability, and his authenticity. is a wonderful example, and it will allow other people to find their voice,
Right.
to touch on their vulnerability,
Right.
and to share their authenticity as well. That stage that he gave us tonight is one that will be continued again and again and again.
And both speakers, I think, illustrated the ability to create legacy, right?
Yes,
Our
yeah.
words matter. They have
Yes.
power, not only in our lives, but in all of the lives that they touch.
Yes.
And that's, that I think is a great gift, to
We-
be able to touch people in that way.
And we've been gifted by two great speakers tonight, and their messages will continue to resonate as our viewers continue to log on to Toastmasters TV.
Absolutely. And with that, it's time to wrap it up. So you've been watching Toastmaster Time TV. We are a production of District 57 Toastmasters here in Northern California. If you want to learn more about the show, go to toastmastertime.com. To learn more about District 57, go to d57tm.org. And if you want to find out about Toastmasters or find a club in your area, go to toastmasters.org. On behalf of all the great volunteers and staff here at the Midpen Media Center in Palo Alto, where we tape our show, I'd like to thank our evaluator, Lewis Knox, our two speakers, Bet Bullhofer and Marquise Engel, all of the staff here. On behalf of everyone at District 57, we'd like to say thanks for watching Toastmaster Time, and keep on talking.